After, he breathes heavily and roars like a beast before the troll disappears and he falls down. He thinks that he can't believe it managed to pierce through the muscles he's so proud of and break his ribs. Trolls are truly strong. He also got hit by all sorts of traps before he fought the troll, and since he's been hurt this much, he doubts the other kids are less injured than him. Without any strength remaining, he falls down. Cayenne also finds himself near a troll and thinks that this is in no way a monster they are supposed to take down. He distracts it with a rock and finds the opportunity to run away before it can notice anything. That's when Seal finds him and says that they started at entirely different points but still managed to meet. Cayenne says that it just shows how closer to the center they are, but this is great, as now she can follow him and won't lose her way. She agrees, and Cayenne thinks that since he was humiliated in front of his sister by that bastard, he must take this chance to recover his damaged reputation. Seal notes that since this is a dungeon, any type of monster can appear, right? Cayenne says that she's correct, but why ask something like this? Seal asks if ghosts are included, and Cayenne freezes up a bit. With a trembling voice, he asks if she's afraid of ghosts, and if she is, she shouldn't worry, as he will protect her. That's when he turns the corner, and Desira appears with a lot of blood on her. He begins screaming uncontrollably, and she does the same, while Seal just watches. Cayenne notices Desira and demands to know why she scared him. She says that he was the one to scare her with his screaming, and he asks why she has so much blood on her. She notes that it's from a trap, and thinks that the ambush was a failure, so she needs to retreat. Seal notes that she's running away, and Cayenne thinks that he's shown his unsightly side to Seal again. So naturally, he can't forgive Desira. He screams that they should go after her, and they do so, making Desira think that she won't be able to win a 2v1 and also wondering where Gargus is. He is passed out cold. Suddenly a trap activates from under her, but she finds her footing and manages to make it to the other side. She continues running, and Cayenne wonders if they need to take another road because of this hole. But he can't let himself be humiliated in front of CL any further. He was going to save his mana for the boss, but now that there's no other choice, he will have to use it. He does so, and barely manages to get across. He offers Seal his hand, and notes that he will catch her. But she can also use mana, and she makes her way over just fine. They continued chasing Desira, and they did so until the three of them reached the center of the labyrinth, where the boss stands. Eugene asks why the three of them came together, and Cayenne asks what he's doing here. Eugene notes that he was just waiting, curious to see who would manage to get here first. Cayenne asks if he was really waiting for everyone to get here, and Seal notes that he's the first one who got here. He confirms this, and Desira says that if he got to the center and managed to wait, she's presuming that he reconsidered the offer she and Gargus made and wants to defeat the boss together, right? Eugene knows that they talked about something like that, but he waited to offer all of them a chance at the boss first. He would be able to deal with that thing in no time, but it would be unfair if they made the effort of reaching the labyrinth and arrived at nothing, right? Cayenne is angry at this mockery, and Eugene notes that this beast doesn't attack if they are not in its range, so it's basically just waiting for them. What he's suggesting is that they all fight it in order of who arrived after himself. First would be Desira, then Cayenne, and after that, Seal. Sounds fair, right? Desira asks if he really wants them to fight that gigantic thing alone, and Eugene says that she also got hurt, so if she thinks winning isn't an option, she can just give up. Desira says that she will do it, and bandages herself with a handkerchief. While she walks towards it, Cayenne asks why he hasn't fought the boss yet. Eugene says that he will, after everyone else is done with it. Cayenne notes that he might not get the chance, as he will surely defeat the boss by himself. Eugene smiles, and says that if he really manages to do that, he will give him the utmost respect for the rest of his life. This makes Cayenne excited, and demands he not forget the promise he just made. He sits down and thinks that the Minotaur is a common monster in the labyrinths, but it's way bigger than he imagined and is surely bigger than the troll he met. However, that's the only scary thing about it, as it doesn't seem hostile compared to a troll or ogre. With this, he should be able to defeat it in one fell swoop. The Minotaur's eyes open, and it slowly gets up. Desira looks at it and wonders how she can kill something that huge. However, she has come too far to give up now. She charges in, and the Minotaur immediately tries to squish her. She dodges and swiftly gets back on her feet, allowing an attack on its hand. But the spear isn't going in. and she thinks that its hide is way too hard to pierce. That's when the Minotaur grabs her whole, and Desira thinks that surely this is the end of her life. But it simply throws her back at the group, and Seal asks why it did that when it could have just killed her outright. Eugene notes that it's not a real monster, and the battle was already over when she was grabbed, so it let her go. Kyan gets up, as it's his turn now, and notes that he will show him the difference between a branch family and the prestigious main family. Eugene just smirks, and Kyan hates his arrogance. Does he really think he can't handle a single oversized cow? He activates his mana and notes that everyone should be watching him. He coats his weapon in mana, and Desira thinks that this must be sword aura, which can cut through anything. But in order to even manifest the sword aura, a decade of mana training would be required. She can't believe how far ahead the main family is compared to them. Eugene also finds it impressive that he can use that at such a ripe age, and Kyan thinks that he can't maintain the aura for long, but it should be plenty to kill the thing in front of him. That's when the aura dissipates, and in a panic, he wails the sword around, trying to make it come back. Eugene thinks of Gillard's words about how this ritual purpose is to check the potential of those who hold the blood of Vermouth, and that it doesn't matter if they are from a branch or the main family. Eugene notes that this labyrinth was created by Robertian, and it appears that he made it in such a way that mana can't be used inside. If nobody can manifest mana in here, then the main family and the branch ones can fight on equal footing. Kyan is still dumbfounded at what just happened, and Eugene urges him to give up if he thinks that he won't win, as he will just skip a beating. Kyan looks at them and at Seal, who watches him with a glisten in her eyes. He steels himself and thinks that he doesn't need the sword aura to defeat this thing. With that, he valiantly charged in. While it tries to grab him, he manages to slash it, and he does it a few more times, but these are just surface wounds, and they won't help much. He dodges its hand once again and aims for the leg, but the Minotaur blocks access to it with its knee and manages to grab Kyan. It throws him away, and Eugene notes that in the end, he still lost, right? Kyan can only look at him, and that's when Seal notes that she doesn't want to fight, as she can't use her sword aura. Eugene thinks that she's much smarter than her brother and picks up his weaponry. While he makes his way towards the Minotaur, Seal asks if he really thinks he could win. Eugene says that he doesn't have the confidence to lose against such a beast. He arrives in its attack range and wonders how he should put it down. That's when it attacks, but he dodges and attempts to climb its hand. However, it uses its other hand to try and grab him, but is unsuccessful, allowing Eugene to make his way to the top of its head. It tries to punch him, but he moves out of the way, and it only punches itself. This silences the Minotaur for a while, giving Eugene the opportunity to strike constantly in the same spot, the neck. They all watch in amazement, and Desira thinks that he's hitting the same spot. It's Cartoid. With one final strike, he makes the beast gush its blood all over the place, and it falls down. This battle has been won. He removes the blood from his sword and asks Kyan if he saw that, who doesn't even know what to say. He finally says that he shouldn't be so proud, as he would have also been able to kill that thing if he had his sword aura. He thinks that what he says is true, but he certainly wouldn't have been able to do it like he did. This feeling that he holds now is different from fear, and he can't really hold his excitement any longer. What could this feeling really be? The labyrinth slowly begins to dematerialize, and Seal notes that the ritual is officially over. Gillard and Robertian watch as this happens, and Gillard finds it incredible that a child from a branch family, no less, managed to take down a Minotaur just by himself. Robertian sweats a bit, and notes that the Minotaur is a monster that is difficult to deal with alone, and that's why the succession ritual this time was about teamwork, so the children could try and defeat it in numerous ways together. That's how it was supposed to be anyway. That single child was also able to break through the numerous traps he set with ease. Just who is he? Gillard smiles and notes that Eugene trained a lot, and repeatedly, even with him being here, at the main family residence. He also sent people to Guidal, his town, to collect some information on him, and he's also famous for his persistence. This child has an exceptional marital physique, and his personality also suits this. He's a gem who was only found because of the ritual. Robertian asks if he's not mad, as he doesn't mean anything by it, but Eugene stands out far more than his children, so if there's such a gap already, when he trains with mana, his strength potential is near infinite. Gillard says that it's a great thing, as because of him, the Lionheart name will shine even further, right? Roberten, with a heavy breath, asks what will happen if he wants to become patriarch.